Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a really fun theme team in the Great League Remix Cup, the Triple Return theme team. This team features 3 purified Pokemon, a Alolan Raticate lead, Dusclops Safe Switch, and a Alolan Marowak as the closer, all running the legacy move of Return. While Return is a very powerful move, 130 base damage, it doesn't typically see much play outside of Sableye. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out the Triple Return theme team in action in the Great League Remix Cup. Hopping to the first match, picking up a Nightmare lead, a Alolan Raticate into Toxicroak. I immediately save switch into Dusclops, and I am met with Mandibuzz. This is not a great spot to be in, but this is where having Return is incredibly helpful. Dusclops, able to connect and does big damage onto Mandibuzz. Dusclops is quite tanky, so we should be able to tank whatever Mandibuzz throws here. They go for a Dark Pulse, and we're able to survive it. Dusclops farming up and able to reach Return number 2. This will not KO, but it is going to get the Mandibuzz very low. Mandibuzz going for the farm down. Dusclops able to reach the Fire Punch, and they're on 1 HP here. If they shield, it's going to KO through the shield. It does, because even a shielded charge move still does 1 HP of damage. So now we have shield advantage and switch advantage. Back in comes the Toxicroak, but now it's aligned to the Alolan Marowak, so I'm in a much better spot here. I'm going to overfarm quite a bit and then go for the Shadow Bone. This will do a lot of damage on a Toxicroak, so Toxicroak is going to commit the final shield. We keep farming up, so do they. Not quite sure why they didn't go for a Mud Bomb there, but we're going to be able to take them out with the Shadow Bone, and in the back, it is Registeel, and this game is over. Things are looking really good for us here. Going for the Shadow Bone, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, loading a Alolan Raticate into Golbat. This is a pretty nice lead, that way my back 2 Pokemon can avoid the potential Shadow Ball user. They're forced to go straight for the Poison Fang in this matchup. Poison Fang not going to be doing a whole lot of damage, so I don't have to commit a shield. Alolan Raticate farming up and going for the Return. This will do big damage if it connects. It does, and down goes Golbat. They bring in Toxicroak, I'm going to pivot into Dusclops, and Dusclops is met with Shadow Hypno. I'm farming up to the Return, and I'm going for a bait with the Fire Punch, trying to get the shield, and we do get the shield. That is massive. Dusclops farming up, and Shadow Hypno is at a move. I'm hoping it's just going to be a punch. It is. We tank the Fire Punch, and we're able to reach the Return. Do they want to give up that second shield? They do not. Almost able to take down the Hypno. And from here, this game should be over. I can very safely let that go. Get an energy lead on Alolan Marowak. In comes Toxicroak, but this Toxicroak has a lot of work to do. I'm just going straight for the Return. We've landed 2 in this match. Can we land a 3rd? Yes, we can. And that is a good game. Another tough lead in the next match, Alolan Raticate into Machamp. I save switch into my Alolan Marowak, and my opponent responds with Greninja. This is tough. Everything Greninja throws is going to be super effective. I'm hoping I can survive it. Surf does massive damage, but I'm able to hang on and reach the Return. Do they respect the damage? They do not, and it's a simultaneous KO. Now I just have to guess. I'm hoping they bring in their Machamp, so I'm going to bring in Dusclops. I bring in Dusclops, and we guessed correctly. That is absolutely massive. We do tank a Rock Slide here, so I am going to let that through. Rock Slide not going to be doing a whole lot. Farming up a ton of energy, and I'm going straight for the Return, hoping that we can land a second Return in the match, but the opponent has learned their lesson, and they do respect it. They very well could bait here, but I can't afford to take that chance. So I do commit the shield, and I'm glad I did because it ends up being a Rock Slide. In the back, they have Kanto Muck. I'm going to bank a Return for later, and then I'm going to bring in Alolan Raticate. All they can really hit me with here is Thunder Punches, and they're actually running Acid Spray as well. So now, unfortunately, my defense is 2 stages debuffed, and if they have Thunder Punch, this is going to be doing quite a lot of damage. That does get me quite low. I'm going to farm up and go for the Crunch. This is not enough to KO, but it is going to be getting that Muck quite low. It does. I let them throw 1 extra Poison Jab. I'm trying to minimize the amount of farm that Machamp can get. Crunch will take them out. Back in comes the Machamp, and this is going to be tough. I'm going to go for the Fire Punch bait, hoping against hope that they shield it. Fire Punch gets the shield. This is big. Can we get to the Return? We lose CMP, but we have a shield, so this game should be won. We shield up. It ends up being a bait, but they have no shields remaining. Dusclops able to land the Return, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Alolan Raticate into Skuntank. I'm very happy to catch the Skuntank on the lead. That way I can hopefully keep it away from my ghost types in the back. Skuntank is going to be able to outpace me here, but I do survive whatever they throw. So I let it through, it's just a flamethrower, and I'm gonna fire back with the return. This is going to do massive damage if it lands, which it does, taking out the Skuntank. They're gonna bring in Jumpluff, and I'm gonna save switch into Dusclops. This is where having Fire Punch on Dusclops is very nice, because we can spam out these Fire Punches and hit them for some nice super effective damage. We do tank any one move here, so I'm not going to shield the Dusclops. They go for the Acrobatics. Absolutely love the Acrobatics animation, by the way. We tank it, and I'm firing off Fire Punch number 2. This is going to start to get them low, so they will commit the first shield. And at this point, Dusclops has kind of done its job, so I'm not going to commit a shield. They go for the Energy Ball. It barely doesn't KO, and I'm able to reach a third Fire Punch. And this is going to be getting that Jumpluff very low. From here, I should be in a pretty good spot. I'm going to try and commit to the one shield farm down with the Alolan Marowak, because if I get a big enough energy lead, I should be in a pretty good spot here. We shield up the Acrobatics, going for the farm down. Come on, AWAC. I get nervous and I bring in the Alolan Raticate to snipe. And in the back, they have Lantern. And that's a very scary Pokemon to see when you have an Alolan Marowak as your final Pokemon. I'm going straight for the return, hoping it can land, but my opponent commits the final shield. Lantern leaves with a lot of energy, and that's not a great sign for me. I think that a Shadow Bone plus a return will be enough to KO. Shadow Bone, able to connect, and they're at a move. This is a tough call to make. I'm going to call the bait, and it's the Thunderbolt bait. And because of that bait call, we are going to get to win the match. Alolan Marowak, able to reach the return. Return, taking down the Lantern, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Alolan Raticate into Greedent. Fairly neutral lead overall, but again, a very good Pokemon to catch on the lead, because my ghost types in the bag do not want to have to deal with this whatsoever. They're going to fire off the Body Slam. We tank that no problem. I'm farming up quite a bit, and I'm going for the Crunch, hoping to try and get a defense drop, as that would be really nice for this matchup. Crunch lands, but unfortunately, we do not get the defense drop. They're going to be firing off another Body Slam. Greedent is incredibly spammy. And I'm going for yet another Crunch. This is not going to KO, but it is going to start getting them quite low. Able to get the Greedent low, and we finally do get the defense drop. We should be able to tank the Body Slam here, and then hopefully commit to the farm down. Come on, Raticate, and we can. Able to take them out. They bring in Dragalge, and honestly, that's a pretty scary Pokemon to see, as I don't have a great response in the back. I do have two pretty neutral matchups, but still not exactly what I was hoping to see. I call the Aqua Tail bait, it is the Aqua Tail, and I'm gonna fire back with the return. I really need to try and land this. Return goes shielded. That is very unfortunate. They're gonna be firing off another Aqua Tail. I'm guessing this is probably gonna be taking me out. Aqua Tail barely does not KO, and I'm gonna bring in Alolan Marowak. But this Dragalge does have an energy lead, which is very scary, because these Aqua Tails plus the Dragon Tails are really gonna start to add up. I overfarm one before they reach another Aqua Tail, and I'm gonna fire off a Shadow Bone. Shadow Bone does get a shield, and it looks like Dragalge is trying to get my final shield. I am going to give it to them. I can't really afford to shield an Aqua Tail here. I'm farming up quite a bit. They go for a catch, and their final Pokemon is Wobbuffet, and maybe we have a chance. Counter is double resisted on my remaining Pokemon, and the only move they can really throw to do any meaningful damage is Mirror Coat, which is a terrible, terrible move. We're able to land another Shadow Bone, and they reach a move. This Mirror Coat should not KO here. Not a great move. We're able to tank it. I'm going to farm up a bunch of energy and then bring in the Dusclops, trying to get to a Fire Punch, and they're forced to throw. From here, I think I can Hex down. This is going to be very close. Marowak going for the Hex down. We get there. We leave on very low HP, but we do have a return loaded. We've seen it before. Return easily able to take down the Dragalge, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Alolan Raticate into Zweilous. Again, another Pokemon I'm very happy to catch on the lead, so that way I can keep it away from my backline. They're just going to be spamming out Body Slams in this matchup, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Body Slam is not going to be doing a whole lot of damage. I'm expecting a shield, so I am going to go for the Crunch bait. Really hoping that they do decide to shield here, but they do not. They read me like a book, and that is really not good news for me. I should survive this Body Slam, but this Crunch is not going to KO, so unfortunately Zweilous is going to be able to win the lead. Firing off this second Crunch, They know it doesn't KO, and they are able to win the lead. This does set up Alolan Marowak for a nice farm, so I can get ahead on energy for whatever they have in the back. Zweilous is down, and they have Seaking in the back. We are ahead on energy, so I'm going straight for the return. Let's do some big damage. Return, big damage onto the Seaking, and I bring in Dusclops as they throw the move. Dusclops can survive whatever they throw here. They go for a drill run, and in the back is Haunter. Haunter is a little scary to see here because these Shadow Claws are going to really tear through Dusclops. Thankfully, we're doing a ton of damage in return with the Hexes. Firing off another Fire Punch. This should be grabbing that final shield from the Haunter. And this is a little scary because this Haunter is absolutely loaded on energy. I am going to shield up, and it is the Shadow Punch. I throw another fast move. Very nice timing by my opponent, not letting me sneak any extra fast moves through. They go for the Shadow Punch. Can we farm down? We cannot. They reach a final move. Is this Shadow Punch enough to KO? It is not. And we're able to reach the Shadow Bone versus the Seaking. So we are able to clutch out a very narrow victory. Hopping into the next match, leading Alolan Raticate into Drifblim. Pretty nice lead. Opponent is going to save switch into Machamp, and I make a mistake. I should have brought in Dusclops, but I accidentally bring in Alolan Marowak. We do survive a Rock Slide. I'm going to let it through. They have payback, and I top left out of respect. Hopping into the next match, leading Alolan Raticate into Hypno, a dominating lead win. And even better, they're staying in. I do have to be careful of a potential Focus Blast, but they throw after 4, meaning this is only an Elemental Punch. I can very safely survive that. They go for the Thunder Punch and then save switch into Mandibuzz. I need to stay in here with 2 Ghost types in the back, so I land the return, and now I'm going to try and take care of this Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz is going to be spamming out these Aerial Aces, but it's just such a bad move that I don't have to shield the first one, and I won't have to shield the second one either. They are barely able to outpace me, but again, I don't have to shield here, and it is a tough task to snarl down and Alolan Raticate. I overfarm as much as I can, and I'm going straight for the return. Return does get shielded, and that's a little unfortunate. I would really like to be able to get this Mandibuzz out of here, because my Ghost types in the back can handle Hypno. I will commit a shield to try and take out this Mandibuzz. We are going for the return, really needing it to land, and it does. That is incredible. They have Hypno, and I am going to save switch into Dusclops. Even if they do have Shadow Ball, Dusclops tanks it, so I'm not worried about that whatsoever. I let it through. It is the Shadow Ball. Dusclops survives, and we're going to be able to go for the return on the Toxicroak. Do they respect the damage? They do not. Toxicroak not going to be able to farm down here, and they're forced to throw. And at this point, this game is over. We are going to be able to Hex down with the Alolan Marowak, and with an energy lead, we are going to be able to easily take care of the Hypno. We are going to overfarm quite a bit and throw just before we reach the back-to-back. Shadow Bone number 1 is going to grab the shield from the Hypno, and Shadow Bone number 2 is going to get us the win. Alolan Marowak finishing the game strong, and that is a good game. Hopping into the final match, leading Alolan Raticate into Haunter, an incredibly dominant lead. My opponent is going to save switch into a Cresselia, and we are still in a pretty nice spot here. I am going to go straight for the Crunch to get some nice chip damage, and then I'm going to try and catch a Moonblast onto my Alolan Marowak. We throw one more, switch, and unfortunately we are not able to catch. Either way, they're still going to be forced to throw resistant moves here unless they're running Future Sight, and by showing the Grass Knot, it's clear that they do not have access to Future Sight. They go for the Grass Knot first, and then they go for the Moonblast. Either way, it's not going to be doing a whole lot of damage. I can very safely farm up to the back-to-back here. Shadow Bone is going to be taking out the Cresselia, and we have energy in case they decide to bring back in the Haunter. But instead, they decide to bring in Whiscash. You know what? We have the return. We may as well show it to them. We're going straight for the return, but they respect it. They do commit the shield, they overfarm, and they throw just before I'm able to reach a Shadow Bone. Very nice counting there by my opponent. But now, I'm going to be able to align my Dusclops onto the Whiscash, so I should be in a pretty decent spot here. And then, my guess is we may see them try and catch onto the Haunter. So I'm going to farm up quite a bit, looking for the switch. They do not switch, and I'm going straight for the return. Do they shield the next return? They don't. Does big damage, and now in comes Haunter. We survive a Sludge Bomb here, so I don't have to shield a thing. I overfarm quite a bit. I'm not going to shield anything they throw here. And they go for the Shadow Punch bait. That is very, very unfortunate for them. Going for the Crunch. Crunch connects. And that is a good game. All in all, I had an absolute blast running the triple return theme team. This team I honestly had great success with, won over 60% of my matches, and landed a ton of returns while doing so. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.